Well, the debate has begun. Should the United States take military action against Syria?
Eventually, all 535 members of Congress will have a vote on whether to give President Obama permission to act as he sees fit. Among those members is Mark Pocan from Madison, a Democrat in the 2nd Congressional District. Earlier today, we had a chance to sit down with Pocan at the Madison Labor Temple. He was one of 100 lawmakers who attended a security briefing at the Capitol on Sunday. We asked him what he learned.
We spent 2.5 hours, a long conversation. It was a classified briefing, but essentially they were making the case about the use of chemical weapons and the need for a response. I have to say, though, from my perspective, I still have more questions coming out of there than I had coming in.
And how do you make the case to the American people that this is morally the right thing to do?
That's a big part of it. I think people are very war weary. When I go around the district, I've been in Sauk County for a day last week, Iowa County for a day last week, throughout Dane County, we're going into Greene County. All I hear is people saying, don't do this. Really? And I think people really have had a very bad taste in their mouth from the Iraq experience, where we felt people weren't completely honest with us about when we got into it and why we got into it, and they don't want to see us in a new war. It's costly, both in terms of lives and dollars, and there's a lot of skepticism. So that means a really strong case has to be made why we need to do this, and I think so far I haven't seen the case be made strong enough that says we should do this.
You were one of the first lawmakers to call for a vote. Why was that so important to you?
Well, it's the law, you know, and I think the president deserves enormous credit for saying, I'm going to go to Congress and get approval, because that's what the Constitution says, that's what the law says. So the fact that we're doing that, that's good. Having said that, again, I think a case really has to be made yet for why Congress would want to do this, given what, not just me, but a lot of my colleagues that I talk to, what we're hearing in the districts.
Do you think there's a spirit of bipartisanship in this? I know Speaker Boehner came out today and said he would support whatever the president decides. Or do you feel like support for this is splitting along party lines?
No, it's not splitting along party lines. I think, you know, there are some Washington institutional players who love this. They love wars. Quite honestly, there's money to be had for a lot of companies. There's a whole different mindset. I think a lot of us who are new, a lot of us who spend time in the district like we are right now, have a very different perspective. You know, we're a lot more cautious about it. So I think you're going to have a real interesting split, but the question will be, will they have enough votes to actually get the authorization out of Congress?
Have you made up your mind yet?
I'm open to hear what they can say, but so far I have not been persuaded that I could vote yes on this. I think that we have not looked at every possible option. We have not engaged enough of the international community, so we're not going in alone or largely alone.
What do you think it would take to convince you?
I think you'd have to show that there's a large international response, perhaps through the UN. So I really think if you got the UN to get involved, and if the international community through the UN said we need to take an action, I think that would be highly, a very strong argument that would say we may need to do something. But I think then they would have a much broader debate about what the proper response is, and you'd have a lot of people with skin in the game, not just the United States.
Tough decisions, and Mark will be in the district for the rest of the week. He returns to Washington when the real debate begins on Monday.
And we thank him for his time. We know he's very busy today.